4.5 years after their breakup, Adam and Camille go over their whole relationship, starting with when they first met on a trip to Hawaii, going through road trips, and their memorable wedding in Las Vegas, baby. Yeah, think big, coming down, bitches.
So welcome to my podcast, Adam.
Thank you.
How are you?
Surviving, you know. It's
That's always the
2021.
answer. It's always the answer you're giving. Even when it was like 2018, you're like, I'm surviving. I'm like, are you gonna survive actually?
Yeah, you know. Survive. It's like the baseline. If you can survive, then you're fine.
Well, that's basically what we're all humans doing.
Yeah, especially last year.
Yeah.
COVID had almost no impact on my life. Like the biggest impact COVID had was I had to wear a mask to the store, and so it was annoying.
Right.
But that's like it. I don't go out and do anything, and I'm fine just surviving in front of the computer. So
Yeah, I know. You're like playing video games 24/7, so
all of us introverts are like, I've been practicing my whole life for this.
exactly.
Actually, at first, COVID hit when the Yupik strawberries were starting at the farm.
Mm,
And because that was outside and people could distance and people didn't really know about how to handle COVID quite yet. And also because the US is really dumb about how they handle COVID.
yeah.
Lots of,
Let's agree about that.
yeah, I don't think anybody will disagree with you, except for the people who stormed the White House, but that's a different story.
Oh my gosh. The Capitol.
Yeah, that was insane. But anyway, people were they bring their kids out because they could bring them outside and do something with the kids to get them out of the house.
Yeah.
So they actually did really well for the Yupik strawberries this year.
Nice. I pretty much wanted to go over our whole story, like from the start.
From Hawaii on.
Yeah. So basically, if you can just tell me kind of what you remember of it, and I don't know, everybody hears me talk about it all the time, but that's only my side of the story. So.
Wait, they hear you talk about us all the time?
Yeah, of course. I'm always like, oh, my ex-husband, no, and people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, I got divorced. I was 24, and they're like, what?
Yeah, well, jumping ahead, I remember being in the courthouse and your mom called. You're like, oh yeah, we're at the court signing the divorce papers, and she's like, what?
What? Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, that'll come later.
Okay, so let's start with the start.
Yeah, so we all went to Hawaii, and let's see, we had to rent. I think we ended up renting 2 cars, but we only had one that first night.
God, yes.
And so I picked. Oh yeah, we only could have one because I was the only one driving. So I had to get you guys and take you to the house so we go get a rental car the next day.
Yeah, because we missed our flight the day before.
Oh,
and
right,
we left in New York because he had a car accident.
Yeah, he decided to drive his car into the center of the median between the highways.
Snowstorm. And so yeah, we slept in New York and we arrived way later, and you were like, what the fuck? You were there with the car and we couldn't rent the other one because it was too late.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. We were 9 people in a 5-place car.
Yeah, it was a Kia, what was it, like a Kia Sorento or something?
Oh yeah, something like
Kia
that.
Optima, some
kind of really small car.
It was a 4-door Kia, but a small 4-door.
9 people or 10 people? I don't know.
Let's see. PA was driving. I was in the front seat.
I was on your lap.
Just met you, and you were sitting on my lap. We had 4 people.
Yeah.
On the bench in the back, so that makes 7. And
well, more than that. There was Gab.
Somebody was laying on top.
There were 5 in the back.
Yeah, because somebody was laying on top of all 4 of them.
Yeah, so
it was you, me, PA, Gab, Verge, Roxanne,
Yeah. Karin?
Karen and Jeremy.
Oh
I
my,
don't know. Jeremy met us later,
yeah,
right?
but still a lot of people in a small car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
It
was the
was.
first time we met.
Yep.
And
And
then,
I mean, I was at the airport. I was like, oh hey, I kind of like her, and you had to sit on my lap, and I'm like, oh okay, yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna sit here and pretend like I'm cool with this, but I'm like really excited. So
that's just the, like the baseline of our story, basically. Because after that, I mean, we spent what, 2 weeks there?
10 days. Well, 9 days because you spent your
9 days.
first day in New
Oh,
York.
right. That was quite short.
It was very full though.
And we were like always getting drunk at night and like hiking in a day.
Yeah, we do at least two big things every day.
Yeah, that was
Except
crazy.
for I think one night we got really drunk and so we didn't do anything the next morning.
That sounds about right. And oh, there was a night where we
Um,
like sneak in. How do
snuck,
you
snuck,
snuck? I'm like, how do
snuck.
you say sneak in the past? We snuck in the pool.
It was in the hot tubs. Yeah, we got that condo at
Yeah,
that like gated. No, it wasn't gated. It
it
was
was.
gated.
It
It was
was.
just never closed.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was that gated rich people community up in rich people Princeville,
oh my God. Surrounded by rich
and
people.
there's probably some movie stars there.
Probably, seriously. We were like
Was it?
the poorest people.
Oh my God, yeah. And they all knew it.
Oh yeah. And
But was it that trip that we saw that famous surfer that got her arm eaten by a shark?
I don't think so.
Was that uh, one of the trips we were up at Princeville? I guess not your trip. And yeah, there's a famous surfer who got her arm bit off by a shark and kept surfing. And we
Shit.
saw her like having her dog was pulling her around on her skateboard.
Oh my God. Okay.
It was yeah, little anecdote. But yes, yeah, we stuck into the hot tub because that wasn't included in our condo rental.
Well, it
And
was,
so
but it
oh
was
no, it was.
it was
Yeah,
close.
they had quiet hours.
Yeah.
So we literally
Pretty
climbed the
much
brick wall. We
Yeah.
put passed the wine through the gates of the bars of the gate,
Yeah. Oh my God.
and they ended up coming and yelling at us.
Yep, of course. What were we
Yeah.
expecting? The poorest people there, like sneaking in.
We tried to be quiet, but we were already drunk.
Well, I think we thought we were quiet, but you know.
Yeah, but when you're drunk,
Yeah.
you're not able to be quiet.
Yeah. And so when did anything happen in that trip? Between you and I?
Um, I don't remember how far through, but I know we went on that big hike in Waimea Canyon,
Yeah.
the miniature Hawaiian Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
and by the end of the hike, I was hanging back, and we were just like talking the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. But my English was quite bad
And
at
then
that time.
it was good enough, or at least you faked it enough.
I was like, but I had no idea what you're saying.
We were talking. I mean, I was saying things, you were answering and asking
Yeah.
things.
Okay.
So like
I
I
can.
feel like we had a full-on conversation, but I
Okay.
guess I don't know how much of it you actually understood. Enough to make it sound like you did.
Yeah, probably because I remember like not understanding everything you would say to me, and I kind of, I kind of tell everyone that you're the reason why I can speak English now. I basically tell people I learned English at 21.
You knew English.
Not that much. I mean,
Well,
very basic English.
it was a good starting spot.
Yeah, but okay, so I remember, oh my gosh.
I also remember we went on a hike, but you twisted your knee or something,
Yeah.
and so I had an ace bandage, and we wrapped your knee up in an ace bandage and then limped along
Yeah,
behind everyone else.
that was
It
the
was when
waterfall
we,
one.
yeah, it was Secret Falls we went to, where you
Yeah.
kayak up the river and then you hike into the waterfall.
Yeah.
And like everybody had gone to the waterfall and then turned around and come back, and we were still hobbling our way up to the waterfall.
We were kind of starting to flirt already, I think. Because I remember we took a picture in the waterfall and you were kind of like holding my hips.
Yeah, we were already at the holding stage.
Holding, yeah. But we did not kiss yet, I think.
No, that was
We were like teenagers.
yeah, basically.
And the
yeah,
first time we kissed was in like a party, I think, at the condo.
yeah, it was at the condo on the couch while everybody was passed out drunk around us.
Yeah.
I think Verge and David were off making out on the balcony or something.
In the laundry room, I think.
Romantic.
Yeah, the best place to go. And yeah, I think we were like playing some game, or I don't know. I don't.
You mean, oh, you and I?
Yeah.
Just that night?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't. I think after everybody went to bed, we just kind of
Kept
laid
talking.
together and we kissed and kept talking.
And then you wanted to go further, and I was like, no, I don't want to. And you know, classic. And then we were leaving the next day. We were leaving the next day, and then when I got home, I think I like added you on Facebook, and we started talking on Messenger, and we just talked every day after.
Yeah, like a lot.
Like a lot, and then
that was just chatting, like text.
Yeah.
Too, which.
Oh, we started video chatting after a while.
After a while, yeah, but we were still spending like hours just texting. Facebook message texting back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember.
I thought it was.
Well, you wanted to video chat, but I was like too shy of speaking English, so I would prefer to type. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because I had more time to think about what I was saying when I was writing. I was not comfortable enough to speak. I was like, it's gonna go too fast. You know?
And I mean, hell, you can already spell French, so English is a breeze.
Yeah, well, that's kind of true. And then I went to Europe for a month and a half, and I took a flight to California 3 days after I was back.
Yeah, see, I remembered, like, we talked for a couple weeks and then you came over, but I guess it was a couple months.
It was a couple months, yeah.
Yeah, my sense of time is all messed up.
And
but
then
we were talking about, I had always wanted, so my grandpa gave me his old, was it 1961 Honda CB 450 motorcycle?
73.
70?
If 73. I remember. I think it's 73.
No, 70. No, I think it was a 71, right? 71.
Okay.
Because I had my truck was a 79. Anyway, early 70s model motorcycle, which is not very big. It was the biggest you'd get back then, like the biggest and most powerful. But these days, it's like a little baby's toy motorcycle.
Yeah, it was like half my ass.
Yeah.
And I mean,
so he gave it to me.
Quite a good size. Sorry. So yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah, he gave it to me. It didn't work, but I had always wanted to fix it up and take it on a long road trip, and I had always thought about fixing it up and taking it up to Quebec to visit PA. And then I mentioned that to you, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'll come to California and drive 3,000 miles with you." Person who I knew in Hawaii for 9 days.
Yep, that sounds like me.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, spirit of adventure, I like it.
Yeah.
And so then I had to fix the motorcycle so it could work.
Yeah.
And
well, when I arrived, I got there like in the middle of the night. And what I remember is you picked me up with your mom's car, and it was smelling like melon so much in that car.
Yes,
and I was like,
she used it for farmers markets, so it always had a strong melon odor.
It was smelling so good. And you came with Alice.
Did I?
Yeah. No, with Joe.
I brought Joe?
You brought Joe. That's a dog,
I
by the
don't
way.
remember bringing Joe. Oh, yes, Joe. Joe's a dog.
Yeah, you brought Joe
Big, huge, sweet golden retriever.
because he was my favorite before Alice became my favorite.
Yeah, because we were video chatting, the dogs would come in and say hi, and then
Yeah. But
you
Alice
would
is
see
also
them.
a dog, by the way. Yeah. And so yeah, and then we couldn't sleep in the same room.
Right. We were, I
So that
guess we were dating,
yeah, sort
quote,
of.
dating then.
I
I
mean,
mean, like,
we had sex the first night I got there.
yeah, that was,
So I guess we were dating.
well, after that.
But we didn't. Your parents might hear this.
Oh. Oh, no. Mom, Dad, we sat in the trailer and held hands.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, we waited years because we were not married at first, you know. That's why we got married. Not exactly. But anyway.
But yeah, I remember picking you up and then grabbing your hand. You were like super nervous when I picked you up, and you were
Yeah.
just kind of sitting there all like I don't know, like a ball of nerves.
Really?
And so I grabbed your hand. Yeah, I mean maybe not like a ball of nerves, but you were definitely like super shy and like quiet and like I don't think you would
Yeah.
really look over at me. And
Oh my
so I
God.
mean we hadn't even gotten out of the airport yet, and so I grabbed your hand, and then you loosened up like immediately.
Oh,
You're like, oh, okay,
cute.
it's okay.
So cute. But I mean, you were like, I repeat that it was the middle of the night. It
It
was a
was like
place I've
literally
never
midnight, I
been
think.
to with a man I barely knew in a car that smelled melon. And we were in the middle of fucking nowhere going to a farm in the dark. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? I'm 21 years old. Like, what the fuck? Like, it was kind of insane.
Yeah, I mean, knowing me, I don't think it was insane at all, but
But I did not know
that
you.
was quite yeah, it was quite a
I
circumstance you
mean,
put yourself in.
yeah, but it was good. I mean, it was worth it after all.
I absolutely think so too.
And then, so yeah, so I spent like 3 weeks on the farm with you. And then we took your motorcycle and drove for, oh my God,
2
for
weeks.
so long.
Yeah, so I was still fixing the motorcycle when you got there,
Yeah.
if you remember.
Yeah, I do. That's why
And like we
took so long because I wasn't supposed to stay for 3 weeks there at first.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
was,
we were supposed to take longer on the trip, but I kept having problems and problems.
yeah, but I mean,
Which,
just
that always is a good sign for a motorcycle before you're going to drive it 3,000 miles across the country
mhm.
and
I mean,
across international borders.
we have to say that the motorcycle made it to Sherbrooke, Quebec, and died in front of my apartment there.
It actually died a little before your apartment,
Well, I
and
mean, like 2
we
meters
just
away.
well, yeah, we coasted like
We
it
coasted.
was like that block, but yeah, it died, and we coasted and stopped in front of the apartment, and then the motorcycle was like, "That's it, no more."
That's insane when I think about it.
Yeah,
Like,
and,
we just drove 3,000 miles and it died right in front of my apartment. What are the odds?
and I mean, we drove 3,000 miles with almost no problems. I mean, I brought tools to fix it along the way, but like, if you remember in Oregon, we had a bolt fall off of the shocks, or
Yeah,
a nut fall off the shocks,
yeah.
and so that was pretty important to get fixed.
We had a
And
problem with the chain at one point. I think in
yeah, that was I
South
think in
Dakota.
like Idaho or something. Yeah, somewhere in the Midwest.
Yeah,
The chain fell off at a stoplight, so
yeah. And we
I had to
needed
push it
we
over
bought
to a
a new
parking
one.
lot.
We needed to buy a new one,
Well,
I think.
yeah, I needed a new one, and the problem is we had a very strict timeline. You had something you had to be back in Sherbrooke for, and
Uh,
so we had to be back. We couldn't like wait anywhere.
did I need to be in Sherbrooke? I
You
don't.
had hair removal appointment at least. Like you
Oh
were
my
doing
God.
the whole
Who
thing,
cares?
and
I could have
I mean,
canceled
that
it.
was.
That's so
I
stupid.
mean, well, I don't think it was. It was just that you had that, and there was
Something else.
something else. But like, I know with that one at least, it was. You were talking about that a lot because like, oh, you started the treatment, and then you stopped for so long, and like you could only stop for a certain amount of time,
Oh
and you were
my
like at the end
God.
of that time, and we had to get back, and but
That's
you had
awful.
there was like 2 or 3 things that we had to do the next day when we got to Sherbrooke.
Yeah.
Like you had these,
Yeah,
you had
yeah.
2 or 3 things to do. That's the only one I
Happy
remember.
hair removal. What the hell? Now I'm like super hairy and proud of it. What
You
was wrong
braid it.
with me? So
Uh,
yeah. What else happened on this trip? I mean, the other thing that I remember
well,
is we had absolutely no rain, which is crazy.
yeah, it's like we went through the mountains one place and it was like spitting on us. So we stopped and I had the rain covers and we covered the backpacks and the whole pile of we had
Oh my
like a
God, that's
hundred
so
pounds of
much
gear or more
stuff.
on the back. It was on some tiny little bicycle-sized rat trap shelf over the back tire, and we had 2 big backpacks full of stuff, and
Oh my God, that was
we had
crazy.
the
I was
tent, and we had a duffel bag, and we had a couple camping
camping
chairs
chairs.
strapped on there, and sleeping pads.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I will post a picture of that. I still have the picture of us at the farm before we left.
Yeah, that
That's
was
insane.
so much stuff on the back of that motorcycle. People were honking at us on the freeway.
People were paying gas and lunches for us.
Oh yeah, the first time we stopped up in Oregon,
Yeah.
we there was a motorcycle like club going through. It was like, well, it wasn't a club. These people just left the club. Like they all did a big motorcycle ride somewhere, and they were going home from it. And so we stopped at a gas station to get gas and went in to get some food at like Jack in the Box or something.
Yeah.
Uh, that wonderful American fast
And,
food.
and they paid for
And
us.
so yeah, we were there counting the money, and like I was just checking receipts from the gas and stuff, but we were basically doing some money stuff, and so they saw us, and we're like young with they saw us get off the old beat up motorcycle. Well, it wasn't beat up, but old motorcycle with the big pile of stuff, and they're like, oh, these crazy kids need some help, and so
Yeah,
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 the
that
wife
happened
I think
a few
gave
times.
me a $50 bill and said go buy some food
Yeah.
and bring me the change back, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
motorcyclists are. I learned later that like motorcycle riders have it's a big sub community. Like they all
Yeah.
take care of each other. And
I mean,
if
every
you see two
motorcycle.
motorcycles passing, go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
Yeah, if you see two motorcycles passing on the road, they'll almost always wave at each other.
Exactly.
Like, and you could be on like some, big badass like American muscle motorcycle, like the giant loud Harley Davidson. You see somebody come by on their like old piddly little grandpa's
Oh yeah.
Honda motorcycle and wave to each other like, yeah,
That
respect.
reminds
You're on
me
a motorcycle.
when we went into the Harley Davidson
Oh
shop.
my God. Yeah. Harley David. The Harleys are all about Harleys, and they're like, Harley is the best thing and the only thing. And if you ride, you should be riding a Harley.
And you came in with like
And
your
then
Honda
I
vest.
pulled in. Yeah. So I had one of my foot pegs fell off. And so I had nowhere to rest my foot for this long drive. And so we were trying to find a new foot peg, and we pulled into I saw a Harley Davidson shop, and I'm like, all right, well, they have motorcycles, so I'll go see if they have a foot peg that fits. And so I pull into the parking lot of the Harley Davidson shop on my little Honda motorcycle, wearing my brother-in-law's Honda motorcycle jacket. And I go walking into the Harley Davidson store.
Oh my God.
And the first thing the guy said to me um, was something along the lines of, you got a lot of balls walking in here like that.
Yeah.
And then we told him what we were doing, and he's like, all right, even if you're not on a Harley Davidson, anybody doing that, you're a legit rider.
Yeah. And you did
So,
not even have anything like protecting you from the wind.
yeah, I took off the screen actually because it was old and like yellowed. He had a windscreen on the front,
Yeah,
but
but
it was old.
you took it off.
I didn't. Yeah, I took it off. I mean, it was old. It was yellow.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, you
like
could
on
see
the
through it, but it
highway,
wasn't great.
like I remember you like having
Yeah,
like neck pain all the time.
Yeah, it wasn't a good idea to not have a windscreen,
Nope.
but also that one was so old, I don't know how well it would have worked. Maybe it would have broken.
Well, maybe it would have been a good idea to put a new one on there. I don't know.
Oh, it absolutely would have been a good idea to do that.
Yeah,
Like
I
looking
think
now, that was a mistake. I
probably. But
was
I mean, it's
literally driving
more.
3,000 miles, holding myself forward against like 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh my God, that was insane.
I don't know how you slept on that.
I was sleeping
Like,
all the time. It was so dangerous.
yeah, like I mean, at least we had the big backrest for it, but I didn't know you were sleeping, and then you told me, and I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna fall off and die.
But I didn't.
How are you doing that? Like number one, how are you comfortable enough to do that? And number two, how do you do that without falling off?
I have no idea. I mean, I had like a backrest thing.
Yeah, it was a really high backrest.
So I was kind of like
But
leaning towards it, and I would like
yeah,
grab your
but
back, and I would just like kind of hold myself straight while I was sleeping.
I guess it's like when you sleep on the top bunk without a rail, you just don't fall off.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was crazy.
But then, yeah, in like the middle of the way, we bought microphones that would go inside of the helmet so we could finally speak.
And it was like $400 to buy these Bluetooth.
But it was worth it.
I remember going through the hills there one time. I wish I could remember where, but basically it was like farmland, but in the rolling hills. And I think it was getting to be later in the day, so it was like the sun was starting to set. And so it cast a shadow across all the fields, but they had recently harvested the hay and rolled it up in these giant like rolls that were still
Yeah.
sitting out in the field. And so they were like these golden hay rolls, but the grass had started to regrow, so it was a like totally green field with these golden rolls in it. And then the sun had gone behind the mountains enough that it was like casting a shadow over just the field, but all the hay bales were still in the sun, so they were like glowing out in this green field.
I might
And
have
if
been
I had
sleeping. I don't remember that.
you might have been sleeping, but I wanted to stop and take a picture, but I didn't have a good camera. Like that was
That
like a
sorry.
calendar picture worthy kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of the time that there was like buffaloes.
Oh
Like,
yeah, we were coming out of Yellowstone.
yeah, and they were like
And
basically like on the fucking side of
I
the
mean, they
road.
weren't like they're not basically, they were literally on the road. Like the whole
Yeah.
herd of them was just slowly like grazing across the plains, and there was a highway going through the plains. They were just moving along slowly, crossing the highway, and traffic had to stop because a buffalo would walk across. Yeah, we could have reached out and touched it like literally without even trying.
Yeah.
They were that close.
And then we wanted to stop to take pictures, but then I was like, no, I'm too scared that the motorcycle won't start again because it happened a few times that it
Because,
wouldn't start.
because yeah, well, that was mostly up in Yellowstone. Like it was hard to start because it was just an old engine
Yeah.
anyway, and it wasn't like totally fixed up like it probably should have been for a cross country road trip.
Yeah.
But because it was so old, it had a different kind of carburetor system in
Yeah.
there where it used jets, like like physically sized jets to spray the right amount of gas in there. But the amount of gas you need changes at different altitudes because you have less air at higher altitudes. I didn't know that.
Nope.
And so we went up to Yellowstone, and then
Well, we went
we
up
tried.
tried to.
Oh no, we went to Yellowstone. We didn't get up all the way up to the highest part of Yellowstone,
Well, yeah, we
but
arrived to
like,
some point that we just needed to coast back down.
well, so we were trying to go up to the highest elevation waterfall in Yellowstone, which was at like 11,000 feet elevation.
Hmm.
And so we were going to go up there, and the motorcycle would work. Like it would take me about a half an hour to get it started in the mornings because it was well, it was difficult. But once I got it started, I just had to keep it revved up. Like I couldn't let the engine go to idle or it would die.
Yeah,
And we
I
have to spend
remember.
like another half hour starting it again.
Yeah.
So, but if it was revved up, it worked totally fine. So we were going to go up to the waterfall, and so we had to go up and up and up this hill, but there was road construction on the hill. And so there was a lot of
Mhm.
traffic backed up, and it was like stop and go and stop and go. And at one of the stops, I let the engine go down too much and it died, and it just would not start again.
Yeah, we're too hot.
So way too high elevation, not like
Yeah,
two
yeah.
flights.
Exactly. So we
um,
went back
so
down.
I just turned it around, put it in neutral, and
Yeah.
coasted down the mountain.
But was it that time that we also like almost ran out of gas?
We didn't plan our trip. We just kind of were like, we need to go that direction, and so we would just drive that direction. And we generally followed big highways, but we didn't like plan out. Okay, I get this much gas mileage, and then the next gas station is this far away, so we should be able to make it to this one, or we can skip it and go to the next one.
Yeah, we didn't really know
And
where we're going. We're just like going places and like, yeah.
I put Sherbrooke in my GPS and said
Yeah.
go.
Basically. And then we're just going around and like, oh, this looks
And
pretty. Let's go this way.
yeah. So yeah, we were going through the mountains, and gas was getting low, and I think we skipped one gas station. Like we were pretty full when we went by a gas station. I'm like, oh, we filled up not that long ago. We'll be fine to the next one.
But there was no
And
next
then
one.
there was no next one. We were in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
like the actual middle of nowhere. Like you look
The
around, and
actual fucking
the
middle of
only
nowhere.
evidence you can see of civilization was the road we were on.
Yep.
Like you couldn't see anything on the horizon, and we were in forests and mountains, and we're like, all right, well, I guess this is the time when we run out of gas and have to hitchhike to a gas station and then hitchhike back to the bike and hope nobody stole all our stuff.
Yep.
But then it's like it just ended. Like we came out of the forest and we were on top of a hill it was almost on the side of on top of a mountain, almost on the side of a cliff, because we had to go switchbacks to go down it.
Yeah.
It was a really steep side of the mountain,
And then
and then it's like, and it just ended there, and then it was flat, and there was a gas station, like
yeah.
kind of like a beacon of hope in the middle of nowhere. There was nothing else around it.
But we got there and it was like out of service, out of service, out of service. And we're like, what
Oh my God.
actual fuck?
It's like when we got to Sherbrooke, the bike died, and I coasted into the gas station,
Yeah.
and I had a little bit of momentum, and I coasted around the gas pumps, and it's like, yeah, out of service, out of service, out of service, and then one of them was in service.
Yep. We took a picture of you with the pump.
With the pump, showing that I put in more gallons of gas than my gas tank is supposed to be able to hold. So it had absolutely nothing in it.
Yep. We're crazy.
Yeah. And then right around the corner, there was a city with a whole bunch of gas stations.
Yeah. But that's okay. I mean, we had gas then.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the other big thing was we got to Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
The day before we had to be back in Sherbrooke for your hair removal appointment.
Oh my God.
And other important
so
things.
Stupid. That's horrible.
At least it wasn't the only thing. It's just the only thing that
we don't remember the other things. So for us right now, it is the only thing, and I feel quite disgusting.
But yeah, we were in Toronto and stopped for gas, and then I think you looked at the tire and you're like,
oh,
didn't you say something about it? Because the webbing, we could see the cotton strings in the tire.
And the gas was leaking too, I think, or the oil.
It always had a little oil.
Oh, okay.
A minor oil leak that didn't get fixed. I think that's what killed it in Quebec, like when it was up there through the winter.
Yeah. Okay. So the tire was fine.
Yeah. You were like, what's wrong with the tire? And I looked at it, and we could see the webbing, which meant all the rubber was gone on one part of it.
Yep.
And so we needed a new tire, but we were in like this little city, like that had nothing, and everything was closed, of course, too. It was like 6:00, so all the shops were closed. And we had a hotel reservation in Toronto that night, and it was like 50 I guess it was 50 kilometers at that point because we were in Canada, so everything changed over.
Yeah.
And so I think we drove 50. We drove. Well, I think we drove for about an hour on this
On the
tire.
tire. Yeah.
And I was just like, I was going so slow. I was like driving on the side of the road because I'm like, this is gonna blow out at any second, and I'm just gonna have to like tip the bike over on the side of the road so we don't get run over by the other traffic. And
Remember how stressed I was.
oh my God, that was
Almost
scary.
as stressed as the time we were driving with your whole fucking big trailer in New York City.
I guess that story will come.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
um, but yeah, so we got to the hotel, and then I found a shop and called them the next day. Oh, we were going to go to Canada's Wonderland the next day,
Yep.
and we still managed to do that.
We did all we wanted to do.
I found the bike shop. I found a bike shop, and they actually sent a guy. He drove for like half an hour to go pick up a tire for me because we couldn't wait for things to get shipped. And while we were at Canada's Wonderland, they were replacing the tire.
Oh,
And
during?
yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I think we dropped the bike off.
And how did we get there?
And then I think we took a cab or something.
Really? I don't remember that.
Well, because maybe we just waited at the shop.
I don't know.
Yeah. All I remember is we got the tire changed and went to Canada's Wonderland in the same day.
Cool.
I don't remember Canada's Wonderland at all.
Me neither, not really, but oh yeah, I remember we ate like a big like ham thing that looked like dinosaur.
Oh, a turkey leg.
Turkey leg, yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Or was it in Disney? I don't know.
That could have been. Oh yeah, that's a Disney thing. We did that.
I think I'm like mixing all of my memories, but so we finished the motorcycle trip by stuffing our clothes with more clothes because it was fucking cold.
It was the only cold night of the entire trip. We didn't bring any cold weather gear because it was summer, right? We were doing this.
Yeah, but we got in Quebec, and of course in Quebec it was freezing cold.
And it was freezing cold the one night we had to drive. Like we couldn't just get a hotel and to drive the next day because we had
because I have my hair
removal appointment.
Hair removal appointment.
Get rid of those evil hairs.
Oh my gosh.
But it was so cold. Yeah, we stopped and literally got out our bags, and I was stuffing t-shirts down the sleeves because I had a mesh jacket. I was wearing a t-shirt with literally a mesh jacket over it. It had armor pads on the elbows and like the back. But other than that, it was just open mesh. And so I stuffed it full of t-shirts. We put on like 3 pairs of pants and I think I was wearing 3 or 4 t-shirts and then stuffing all the rest of my clothes down my sleeves.
Oh my God.
And still we were stopping like every 10 minutes to like we would get off the bike and just jump for like 5 minutes just to warm up.
I remember.
We'd like stand in this dark parking lot because nothing was open because it was the middle of the night, jumping so we could get warm enough to drive for 10 more minutes.
Oh my God, that was terrible. That was the longest drive.
Oh my, I was counting down. I'm glad it was kilometers and not miles because you had a little mile sign or like a distance sign every half kilometer. So I was using that to count down like, okay, I can make it just a few more.
Yeah. Well, it took like 13 hours to do Toronto to Sherbrooke, which is crazy long.
That's like 3 times as long as it should.
Basically. And then what else? New Orleans?
I guess New Orleans is the next big one. Yeah. You studied a semester abroad in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get into Hawaii.
Yep.
So yeah, we put down Hawaii because we're like, oh, we met in Hawaii. Even though it's not the same island, we can go back to Hawaii and, live in Hawaii for a little bit. But of course we didn't get Hawaii.
Yeah. So we got New Orleans.
New Orleans was the only other school that sounded vaguely interesting.
Yeah.
On the whole list.
Yeah.
I think you put down like somewhere in Tennessee or I don't even remember.
The third one was Colorado.
Oh yeah, Colorado's nice. I like Colorado. I mean, I wouldn't say like their schools are any kind of interesting, but
I mean, it wasn't in New Orleans either. It was
it turned out. It was like on the outskirts of New Orleans. It was University of New Orleans. It was so small,
so gross.
Like,
full of cockroaches and like with
Yeah, it
little signs that say don't bring a gun to school, and I'm like, of course I won't, I'm Canadian.
yeah, that was not an impressive school.
Yeah, but we had a good time there.
We had a good time, yeah.
And
We at Corbin.
oh my god, yes, it was so fun.
And then you met remember the other girl from Quebec lived like in the same
Yeah,
apartment complex.
I still talk to her.
Really?
Yeah.
What was her name?
Elsa.
No, Elsa.
Yeah, I am still in contact with her.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then, so well, there's nothing very interesting in.
I mean, being in New Orleans, it wasn't like that interesting. It was an interesting city.
I mean, I
But
was
like we
basically
didn't do anything
alone
crazy there.
all the time because you were always going back to California to work.
Oh yeah, that's when I was building that addition on the house, and
Yeah.
I didn't finish that job. Like I was the only one building it, and I didn't finish it before we had to leave. And so the
Yeah.
deal was I would come and get you and take you to New Orleans, and then we would be there, like get you settled, and then I had to go back and work on it, and then I could come back
But
to
then you went
New
back
Orleans.
a second
But then I
time.
had to go back a second time. Yeah, it was a terrible situation.
And
I
then
did not enjoy the back and forth.
and then when you brought me back to Quebec and then you went back to New Orleans and you were like trying to find a job and it was awful.
It was yeah. So we had the 6-month lease on the place, but your semester was only 4 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, I drove you up, I dropped you off, and then I went back and tried to find a job. If I had have had my tools there, I had like 2 or 3 people say, we would hire you tomorrow if you had your tools.
Yeah.
But I didn't have my tools. I had to empty my tools out to pick up. So I took my trailer up to get you and all your stuff and my motorcycle from Quebec and
Yeah.
then drive it down to New Orleans. And so all my tools were in California, and me with my empty trailer was in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't find a job doing that. I ended up finding a job as a door-to-door
Ugh.
internet salesman.
That was terrible.
It was horrendous. I hated it. Like every moment of it, I just hated it and hated it. I don't think I really made that like any money on it because it was 100% commission.
Oh my god.
It was
That's
a terrible. It was like the only thing I could find.
oh my god.
Like right, I tried to I put in an application because there was a Papa Murphy's, a take and bake pizza place, like right next to the apartment complex. And so I applied to them to be a delivery driver, which is like one of the worst jobs you can get. And they didn't hire me because my car was too big, too like, it wasn't like
Yeah.
a small gas efficient car. So like, I guess they're like, oh, he's not going to stay doing this. It's going to cost too much to
Yeah.
deliver the pizzas. Which, I mean, that's, to be fair, I wasn't going to stay there that long. It was literally just something to scratch enough rent to survive.
Yeah.
Um,
Damn.
so yeah, the end of that trip was not very good. It was a nice little apartment though.
And then I remember one thing about living there is once we were sleeping and in the middle of the night, I wake up hearing voices in the living room and I'm like kind of freaking out. And I'm like, Adam, there's someone inside. And you're like, what? Yes, I hear voices. And you're like, I'm going to go see. And then you got to the living room and Netflix just started by itself.
Not just Netflix, my computer turned on.
I know. Your computer turned on and started Netflix while we were sleeping. That was insane. And it was Goosebumps that was playing. I was like, seriously? That's really weird.
Oh boy, that was, yeah, I forgot about that.
Nah, you will never forget about that. That and the cockroach that I killed. Well, Corbin killed. Because you were gone. And there was really big cockroaches that would get in. And I saw one running in the living room and I was like, screaming like murder. And then the neighbor came and was like, are you like being killed right now? Because that's something that happens a lot there. And I was like, no, there's just a cockroach. And then I just put like a dictionary on it, so I thought it was dead, but it wasn't because cockroaches are crazy, like strong, and they would never die. So I went.
Well, we had a big soft carpet too.
Also. But I went downstairs and I got Corbin, our friend, and I was like, "Can you come and kill the cockroach for me, please?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And then he tried to kill it, but I mean, he tried and tried and tried, and it would not die. And eventually it died. And then later I told that story to a friend, and she was like, "You need to never do that. You need to never kill a cockroach inside your house because you will like let her like put all of her eggs everywhere, and then you're gonna be stuck with a lot more cockroaches." And I was like, "Ew! If I had known." Anyway,
Ah.
yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about the wedding.
The wedding. You don't want to talk about driving to New Orleans?
Is there any good stories?
I
There's
mean, we took my car and my trailer in downtown New York
Oh my
City.
gosh. Oh my gosh. That's so true. That was the worst moment of my entire life.
So I drove from California to Quebec in 4 days, I think, to pick you up.
3 days.
3 days? Okay. And then we road tripped for 2 weeks down the east coast of the US to go to New Orleans.
Yeah, you had like a
And
huge car with a mattress in the back so we could sleep in it, and the
yeah, it
huge
was a
closed trailer.
Chevy Tahoe.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
a Chevy Tahoe, and I could fit a queen size mattress in the back. Like, just throw a mattress in there and it fit. And then I had my cargo trailer on the back that I had my motorcycle in, and all of your stuff was piled up in there.
And we dumbasses drove through New York City with that shit.
Well, we were driving down the East Coast. We're like, we want to see some stuff. Like, we stopped at some parks, and
Oh my
we
god.
we did some cool stuff there. But we're like, hey, let's go to New York. Let's see, like, the Empire State Building, and let's go see
Well,
the Statue of Liberty.
we did not see anything.
I mean, we saw the Empire State Building, but we were like literally at the bottom of it, and there's nowhere to stop, so we didn't like look at it or go
We
up
just
there or
drove
anything.
next to it
Like,
because we
oh yes,
couldn't park
I
it
saw
anywhere.
the bricks. Yeah, I
Wow.
saw the bricks at the bottom of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, that sounds
then-
fun.
And then we took a ferry, and we're like, oh, that little thing way off in the distance, that's the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, well, at that
And we
point,
paid
we were able to park the
$90.
car
Oh yeah, I found that you
outdoor.
couldn't put it in any like, we couldn't park it on the street because, well, there's like no street parking, or you can't leave it there for very long. I couldn't put it in any of the garages because it was too tall, wouldn't fit inside. Oh, we had a cargo carrier on top of the car also.
Oh yeah.
But I did find this one open air lot. It was a valet lot, so that you weren't even allowed to park it. But they said that they would take my car and trailer, and we had to pay for 2 spots, and it was valet, and it ended up costing $90 to park for like an hour in New York City.
oh
And
my
I had to park it anyway. Like, they tried to take it in there, and they couldn't drive the trailer. So I had to go in there anyway and park my own car in the valet lot and pay the valet
Yeah.
price.
And it was not worth it. I mean, it was just
No.
troubles for nothing.
Totally not worth it.
Yeah. And it was so stressful to drive around New York City with all of that.
Oh.
Seriously, I've never been that stressed in my whole goddamn life.
So there are 3 things I remember about driving in New York City. First was like when we first got into downtown. This is like the first thing that happened in New York City. We were on a 2-lane road. So it was like, it was a city street. There were 2 lanes going each direction. And so we got to the stoplight in a 2-lane road, and there were 5 cars lined up,
Oh my god,
packed
yes.
into a 2-lane road. And then on a red light, the guy in the right lane decided he wanted to turn left, and so he just
Yeah.
went.
I know. Oh my god, I was so stressed.
And then I almost ran over a lady because,
She decided to
She,
cross
like-
the street whenever the fuck she wanted.
well, this is what they do in New York. They stand like right at, they like put their toes right next to your tires as you're driving, so they can like save like a tenth of a second walking across the street.
Yeah.
But she didn't just do that. She like charged out from between parked cars into the side. I was already driving past her. So she didn't even step in front of me. She stepped up against the side of me, but I have my trailer, and the tires on my trailer are a little bit wider than the tires on my car. And so she like walked right up and almost got run over by my trailer. And then
Fun
as we were
time.
leaving, I pushed around a New York taxi cab driver, and he got really angry
Well, do you
because,
remember when we tried to go in the tunnel?
oh yeah, the best way to
And they
leave New
were
York
like,
City was to get in the tunnel, but I had this trailer, and
almost the only way. I mean, it was very difficult after that to
it
find
took us
another way
like
to get out.
three hours, I think, to go out of our way to get around,
Yeah,
find another way out of New York.
because
But
you
yeah, they
can't
wouldn't
go
let
in
us.
the tunnel after the 9/11 because a trailer in a tunnel after 9/11 doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, we might have a bomb in there.
But you
And I'm
can't
like,
have
do
a
you want to
bomb in
look?
your car usually.
Yeah,
Like a bomb isn't like 6x8.
yeah. Like the cops were literally, they had a roadblock, and they were stopping people who were trying to go in the tunnel, and they're like, yeah, don't like you can't go in the tunnel because of 9/11.
Because of 9/11, we don't accept trailers in tunnels anymore. I mean,
And it
because
was what,
a
like 8 years
goddamn
later?
plane flew into a building, trailers can go underground. Like, just, it doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
people. Anyway, so I remember that too. And then, well, that trip was nice.
Oh, and then I left, well, kind of, because I left my ATM card at the valet lot, and we figured it out when we stopped to get gas just outside of New York. So we finally got out of New York, like 3 extra hours driving around New York to get out of there. And then we realized I left my ATM card at the valet lot. So I
Oh
call
my,
the valet lot, and they're like,
I must
oh,
hate
yeah,
it.
it's right here. We already cut it in half.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
I couldn't even go back to get it. And this is like in the first few days of our trip,
Yep.
like day 2 or 3 probably, and we had 2
Maybe
weeks
2,
of
I think.
this.
Yep.
And I had all my money in my bank account. I mean, I had a credit card, so we were able to use that, and I just had to like get in there and pay it off all the time or
I
something.
also had money.
Uh, but like, yeah, I didn't have easy access to my money until like a while after we got to New Orleans.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I
was,
think I probably paid for most of the trip and then
I remember we sat down and made a spreadsheet to figure out,
yeah.
to track all the
Yeah.
stuff, paying one way and the other to
Yeah, we
do
always
the
did that.
bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The
then
only other thing I remember about that trip was we drove out to Key West in Florida, again with my trailer,
yeah,
and we took a
that was
nap
cool.
under a palm tree.
I mean, we woke up at like 4 a.m. or something like that, and we drove the Keys
Oh
during
my God.
sunrise.
The reason that was cool doing it during sunrise, but the reason we had to do that, remember, because we parked in Home Depot to sleep,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it was Florida in the summer. It was hot.
Goddamn hot.
And so we opened the windows, and there were mosquitoes because it's a swamp. So we had to close the windows, and then we turned on the fan just to get air moving so we wouldn't die inside the car.
Yeah,
And then the battery died.
of
And
course.
so it's like 4 a.m. I wake up, it's 4 a.m. Battery's dead. We can't sleep because there's no air movement. We can't open the windows because of the mosquitoes. So we're like fine, all right, I got to figure out how to start my car. And then we may as well drive out there. So we ended up buying some crappy jumper cables at a gas station, and then the cleaning people were just arriving to Home Depot, and so one of them was able to give us a jump start.
Yep.
And then also, it was just jump started, so you got to let it run for a while so it can charge the battery up again. So we're like, may as well go drive the Keys because we wanted to go out to Key West anyway.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was like
So we
4 or
went
5 in the morning. We
during
drove the Keys.
sunrise. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
It was a
And
really nice time.
and then we get there, and we go out to the beach, and we're so tired because we didn't sleep well. We didn't sleep much, and we slept for like 3 hours under a palm tree.
Oh my God, it felt so good.
It was great. Yeah, that was one of the best naps I've ever had.
Yeah, definitely. And then, yeah, we lived in New Orleans. Well, I lived in New Orleans for a while, and you were there a little bit.
I
And
was there on and
then,
off, and then
I mean, that's pretty much it for that trip. I had a friend that was in Texas, and when we drove back to Quebec, he came with us.
oh, Dom.
And yeah, and we
Forgot about him.
listened to Taylor Swift the whole fucking time.
Right, that's because I had a Taylor Swift CD in my CD player, and I
I
never
wonder why.
bothered to
I
change it.
wonder who bought it.
Oh no, right, you did that. That was your fault.
Of course it was.
That CD was in there, um, well, for the first year that Snow and I were together, even.
You still have it?
I think I still have it.
What? It's my CD.
It was my car's CD, let's
I
be
want it
honest,
back.
because it never left that car.
I want it
It
back.
might, it might still be in there. I'll have to see.
Oh my God. Send it by mail, please. Okay. Okay, the wedding now.
The weddings. So, let's see. We were gonna. How to best start this? You were gonna come. I don't know. Okay, we were getting serious,
Yeah.
and we're like, okay, we're together, but we're from different countries, and that's a pain in the ass to go back and forth. You got visas. You can only come so much time. So we're like, all right, well, let's start off by getting you your American citizenship,
Yeah.
so you can come and live here and work here, and then we can work on getting me my Canadian citizenship later. And we even hired lawyers, and we were like working through the process here. But we decided easiest way to do it would be to get married. That's one of the easiest ways you can fast track yourself, unless you're like a refugee or something.
Yeah.
And even then, it was a long process.
Yeah, like 10
But
years.
no, it was 5 years. I think
That's
5 years
cool.
at the minimum. Like if you did everything on time and didn't have any problems, it was 5 years.
Yeah.
You could get like your green card or like a residency permit or something before then, but to go
Yeah.
all the way to citizenship, like it was a long time. So we decided, yeah, we can get married, and that would be the easiest way to do it. So you came to California. I don't think it was necessarily for getting married or anything, but we were working on doing the citizenship. And then my friend was going to go down to Las Vegas for a Magic the Gathering card tournament.
But we decided we would get married before I arrived in California because I bought my dress.
Oh, right. Yeah, we did.
I bought my dress
You
before
bought
I
it.
came.
That's right. Okay, so you did come out to get married and also to work on the citizenship. I
Yeah,
don't remember.
because I remember also like they always stopped me at the border because they were like, "We know you have a boyfriend in the US and la. Will you leave?" And I was like, "Yes, I will leave. Here's a proof." And I would not leave, but I would get married instead. Uh,
Oh yeah, that's crazy. They knew about me. They had
they knew
I was like
everything.
flagged on your file.
Yeah, that was crazy. They were like, "So, what is the purpose of your travel?" And I was like, "I'm gonna go visit my boyfriend." And they're like, "Adam?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, they know everything."
Yeah, I mean this is the U.S. Border Patrol.
It was
They're
insane.
like interrogating you, and then going to Canada. Like when I go up there to visit you, I'm like, I'm gonna go visit my girlfriend. Like, oh, welcome to Canada. Eh?
Yeah, that's the only like every time I go, I know I'm a citizen, but every time I come back to Canada, they don't ask any questions and they're just like, "Welcome back. We're so happy to have you." Like basically. Like, oh my God. We're
I know
too
it's a super what's the word I want? Stereotype.
yeah,
But Canadians really are very nice.
they are mostly, not
I
all
mean,
of them,
there's assholes everywhere, but like on the whole, Canadians are very nice people.
I guess. But yeah, we went to Vegas and we got married.
Yeah, so yeah, we were gonna go to Vegas. He was gonna go down for the trip, and so I was gonna go with him. And I was like, oh, why don't you come along too? And and then we're like, you know what? We're going to Vegas. Let's do the cliche thing and get married.
Yeah.
So we did. We
And
had
your parents
my
came.
friend's friend. Yeah, oh, yeah, they came. Yeah, but we had. Do you remember Tony, Nick's
No.
friend? His friend came along for the to go to that tournament also. So it was Nick and his wife, and then his friend Tony.
Oh yeah, because you guys were going to a geeky weird thing.
Yeah, it was a card game, like yeah, a collectible card game tournament, Magic the
Yeah.
Gathering. But we met Tony when we went to so we met Nick in California. He lived somewhere else, so we drove to his place, and then we all went together to Vegas. And we met Tony when we went down there to meet up with Nick.
Yeah.
And then he was a witness at our wedding.
Oh my god. And like, I mean, we went to fucking Vegas to get married and we didn't even get married by Elvis. Like, we're stupid.
No, we went to the courthouse. Well, we looked into it. It was like, what, $2,000 or something ridiculous?
Yeah, it was pretty expensive.
We were like, oh yeah, we could do one of those stupid themed weddings, but like, no, they were way, way expensive.
Yeah.
So we just went to the courthouse and signed the papers.
Exactly. And then we were allowed to sleep in the same bedroom as well at your parents' place.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do you remember the midgets story
Oh
from?
my god. Butt naked midgets.
So yeah, we're walking down the strip, and there's the people pushing flyers for the strip clubs everywhere. And so it's you and me, Nick and Liz, Tony, and my parents all walking in a group. And we cross the street, and on the other side of the street, there's a guy on the corner pushing a strip club, and he sees us, and somebody looked at him. I don't know who did it, but one of us looked at him.
Probably me.
Yeah, 'cause you're a friendly Canadian. You don't avoid eye contact.
Exactly.
And so he's like, oh, somebody looked at me. He like zeroed in on us, like beeline, like he met us in the street while we were still crossing the street, like flyers out, pushing them into our hands, being like, oh, you want to go to a strip club? I don't remember what he's saying, but like blah, 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 strip club this. And then we just kind of like parted around him.
Ignored him.
And then as we're like walking around him, leaving, he yells to the backs of us, we got midgets, butt naked midgets. Think about it.
I know. I will never forget that moment.
My dad still tells that story. My dad wrote a poem about that story.
I know. I heard it. Oh, I love your dad. And your mom. Anyway, I'll come visit whenever this shitty pandemic stops.
Yeah, it's going to stop in the rest of the world before it stops here.
Probably.
We're going to be like this festering sore on the planet.
Oh my gosh.
So it might be a while before anybody wants to come here again.
A couple years.
Yeah.
So after the wedding, we just stayed together for like a year, and then I came back to California, and then the end of the story, I don't know if we want to talk about it.
Up to you.
I mean, I don't know. It didn't end up very well, right?
No. It was rough.
Yeah, it was pretty shitty. Sorry about everything. Anyway.
C'est la vie.
Yeah. But I do remember one thing that still makes me cry every time is the letter you wrote to me before I left for Asia.
Yeah, because I knew we were basically broken up by then.
Yeah.
I mean, we were like together, but like we knew like you were leaving for Asia. That was it. We were done. And yeah, I wrote you a letter. I don't remember what I wrote in the letter. Oh, it was in French.
Yeah, you wrote it in French and then you translated it in English because you were scared that I wouldn't understand your French.
Yeah, my French is not very good.
It was good enough. It was the cutest thing I've ever received in my whole life, and every time I read it, I cry.
Oh, you still have it?
I do. Of course I do.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember I opened it because you hid it. I'm bad with my past tense. You hid it in my backpack, and I
wrote it. I wrote it while you were like packing. Like I would help you get ready to pack up and go. I wrote it the day you left. Like I'd been thinking about it, but I couldn't ever get away enough to write it. So I would sneak away and spend a couple of minutes writing something and then come back and help you. And then like, oh, I got to go take this in the back. And then I'd go take it back there and then write a little bit more and then come back and help you.
Yeah.
And then, I hid it. I had it in my pocket and I think it was at the airport. I finally got a chance to hide it in your bag or somewhere.
I don't know, but it was like in my small carry-on backpack that I took with me on the plane. And I sat and I was very, very sensitive because it was really difficult for me to say goodbye. And I was like on the edge of crying. And I was like thinking, what am I doing? Like, why am I going to fucking China? It doesn't make sense. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like kind of feeling weird and lost. And I opened my backpack to like take a book or something to change my mind. And then I saw an envelope that I didn't put there. So I was like, what the fuck is that? And I opened it and I immediately started crying, but like crying so loud. Everybody in the goddamn plane was looking at me thinking, why is she going to China if it makes her so sad? So, oh my God. Yeah. And then I kept it the whole trip and I still have it.
Impressive. Yeah, because you did a lot on that trip,
I did a lot. I was in Asia for 7 months.
and the letter survived.
It did. I would never have let it go. It's like
Oh.
really the most beautiful thing that I've ever received.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah.
And
It was good times.
yeah, it was good. I don't regret any of it.
Me neither. And now I can tell people that I've been married.
Yeah, me too. I have to click divorced on the
Oh my God. Do you?
stuff now. We have to.
I don't do
It's.
that. I go on single.
I mean, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't really matter, but demographic information, I guess.
Oh,
But
that's
like,
so funny.
it's. I mean, I think it's more because it happened here in the States, so like you could pretend
Yeah.
like it didn't happen up there.
Yeah.
But like for me, like it's on record. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all linked together.
Yeah, I just did not think about that, but yeah. You kind of have to check the divorce boxes.
Yep.
Oh my God. That's so funny. But then you met your girlfriend like a couple months after I left.
Partner.
Sorry.
She likes partner.
Okay, partner. Sorry. So you've been together for like
Well,
a few years?
I already knew her. We've been together 4 years.
Yeah. Congrats.
Oh,
It's longer than we did.
Yeah, it's been an adventure.
Yeah.
It's well, you might remember I am not built the best for relationships.
I do remember, and I think that's pretty much why we're not together anymore.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah, life happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, I already knew her, and then I was like I was a wreck for like 3 months after you left.
I know.
Like I don't know if I ever told you that, but like I was well, I never reach out to people. I never like need to talk to people, and I was like needing to talk to people all the time. I just had to talk to people, which I guess for most people is like, yeah, that's a normal thing. But for me, it's like the first time that has ever happened that I felt like so bad that I needed to just talk to people.
Yeah.
So I know everybody else is probably like, oh, poor you, you had to talk to people. We do that all the time. But
No, for you it's a big thing. That's
like for
okay.
me, it was like literally the first time in my life I ever felt the need to do that.
I'm so sorry. I know
And
you want to talk to people.
well, when you put it that way.
I'm such a bad influence.
But no, I sent her a message, and then we met up, and then we started dating, and yeah, we're still dating.
Well, that's good. I'm happy.
We went back and read the message, like it was maybe 2 years later, and we vowed to never read that message again because it was so bad. It was
What
just so
message?
cheesy. The message I sent to her.
Really?
So, yeah, so like
Oh my
we
God,
had,
I want to know. You never
I,
told me that.
so I already knew her. We had met at friends games nights like 7 years before that, I think 7 or 8
Yeah.
years before we got together.
Yeah.
Or her and I got together. And like back then I had a crush on her, like pretty big. And but nothing ever happened. I mean, she wasn't living here, and I only saw her infrequently, and I didn't think she was interested, and thought she was like out of my league and all that. And then at one point, things kind of like we went out on hung out a couple times, maybe date, maybe not, like who knows what, like things might have started happening, and then our shitty friends were like, you guys can't be together anymore. You can't hang out anymore, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And so they basically drove us apart
Yeah.
for 7 years. And then yeah, when I was in the well, I was coming out of feeling bad. Like I was getting over like the
breakup.
terrible feelings. I guess yeah, the breakup, which apparently 3 months is fast to get over
I mean,
something like that. But
I don't know.
I don't know.
Everybody lives it differently, I guess.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I was coming out of it, and I saw. I like never look at Facebook, but she happened to be like on the top of the feed on Facebook. I'm like, oh, I should message her, and I just wanted to
I just
like-
want to know what the message is.
like hang out again. Yeah.
What did you say?
I don't remember what I said, but it was something like oh, hey Snow, it's been ages. How you doing? Like just something so blah and cheesy, and just like it was bad.
Oh,
Hang on.
are you gonna
Let me
find it?
see. I can try. I'll try a little bit, but it's
That must be very far
4
away.
years ago.
Yeah.
It's 4 years, and she actually she doesn't do that much on Facebook. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty bleh.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
Okay, read it.
I'm sorry, Snow. I have to do this. Okay. It says, Snow with 3 exclamation points. You popped up on my newsfeed that I never look at. Ha ha.
Oh.
With 1 exclamation point. What's up with you? How's life?
Oh, that's sweet. It's not that bad.
It's not that it was bad, but it's just like so bleh.
It's
And
not
then
that bad.
it probably seems worse because we both had like this memory of this magical message like bringing us back together.
Oh, right. Okay, now I understand.
And then we go and read it and we're like, really? That?
That's not magical. But that's okay.
Like we started dating after that? No, it was like
That's so funny.
it's life.
Oh, well. Well, at least now, you found each other and you're happy, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's a good way to finish the episode. So thanks for coming, Adam, and telling my people about our story. Hopefully everything goes well for you in the future, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.